Hello and welcome to the big picture. The confusion over Aadhaar and the National Population Register seem to have got confounded, with even the cabinet ministers not sure of the difference between the two schemes. The confusion was evident at the cabinet meeting yesterday, as different ministers had different perceptions apparently when Home Minister Sushil Kumar Shinde presented a 5,552 crore proposal to give every adult resident a multi-purpose card. These differences apparently has finally led to a decision to appoint a GOM to look into the proposals and whether any duplication is happening in the two schemes. The two schemes, which have been controversial right from the beginning, when it was mooted in 2009, has had many opponents as well as supporters. Now with Aadhaar scheme having been implemented in many parts of the country, with even numbers allotted and cards issued, and the work on NPR having begun, what is it that the GOM is expected to do? What will be the future of these schemes? What about the doubts which still remain on various aspects of it, including the legality itself of Aadhaar? We will discuss all this today with a well-informed group of guests. Uday Singh, BJP MP in the Lok Sabha, Usha Ramanathan, independent law researcher, Vinay Kumar, senior assistant editor of The Hindu, Gopal Krishna, member of the Citizen Forum for Civil Liberty, and on the phone line from Thiruvananthapuram will be Dr. M. Vijayanunni, former Registrar General and Census Commissioner of India. Welcome to all of you. Uday Singh, first I'll come to you. You have been a member of the Lok Sabha. You have been watching how this. I also noticed that you are one of the earlier people who had raised questions about this scheme as far back as in 2009. So, what do you think of this present confusion, which has led to the decision to form a GOM?
Your audio was not very clear, but I could understand part of your question.
Yes.
You see, there is no place for these two schemes to coexist. And we have been saying this right from the beginning.
Right.
You see, the genesis of both the Aadhaar and the NPR was an initiative started by the NDA government when Mr. L.K. Advani was the Honorable Home Minister.
Yes.
To prepare a national citizen registry.
Right.
And to issue a national citizen card.
Right.
To all citizens of India.
Right.
However, with the UPA coming in power and with the UPA keeping company of parties like the MIM and others, they just did not have the political will to identify illegal immigrants, whereby the problem of issuing national citizen card arose.
Right.
And that is when the national citizen card became suddenly the national population card.
Yes.
And then they got this brainwave, and I'm in agreement with what they did. They brought in this brilliant person, Mr. Nandan Nilekani.
Right.
But instead of telling him to prepare one single register,
right,
which should have been the National Citizen Register, they put him on another track of issuing some Aadhaar card.
Right.
I mean, some unique identification card. What purpose these two cards or these two numbers or these two registrations would serve is clear to nobody. And therefore, I'm not surprised that ministers suddenly are waking up to the fact that there is an immense confusion. And if I may add, look at this joke that they are playing on the country about cash transfer linked to Aadhaar.
Right.
I mean, half the country in a state like Bihar, which has fallen in the domain of the NPR, we have not even begun in right earnest to issue Aadhaar cards. So I don't know what they are talking about.
Okay.
And therefore, a rethink is required. They need to get political courage, political will. They should revert back to issuing national citizen card and a biometric multi-utility card, a smart card, which would then also entitle the holder to receive any and
benefits,
all kinds of social security, social sector benefits that the government may from time to time announce.
Okay. Usha, here Uday Singh's argument that this a different kind of national citizen card should have been issued. The focus there is on finding illegal migrants. you know. But we have gone far ahead from there now, and you know, the present confusion. Why do you think this present confusion has emerged?
Actually, I think what this present juncture tells us is that is something that we've been saying for the past 3.5 years at least, that nobody has any idea what this is about. There has been no feasibility study. We've been saying this till we are hoarse in the throat. Nobody has any idea how this technology will work. For instance, if you look at the kind of documentation that has come, you find that biometrics is extremely unreliable technology.
Right.
In 2010, when they talked about it and when they first issued a notice to the consultant, I wish people would look at the documentation that's already available, which clearly says that they had no idea. And I don't mean that they needed to test it out to see whatever. They had no idea what it would mean given the demographics and the conditions, environmental conditions in India, which means the poor are going to be the most affected by this biometric not working. But if I might just add this, that it's not just that it is untested. I think it's time for the GOM to wake up to this, that this is an experiment being conducted on a whole population. Its consequences are not understood. And if ministers today sitting in the cabinet are saying that we did not know what this was about, and is it a number or a card at this stage, it should pause this project.
Let us come to that. Actually, the confusion today, is it number? I have an Aadhaar card. Now, from what I've read, Mr. Chidambaram is apparently told the cabinet also that if you have an Aadhaar card, you have to go and register yourself into in the NPR. If you have an NPR, you don't have to do the Aadhaar. What is this? Why? How did this happen?
Yeah, this is about sharing of, the presumption seems to be that there are two turfs. There is the turf of Mr. Nilekani and the turf of the other. Sometimes it's Mr. Chidambaram, sometimes. I just want to introduce a third turf, which is the citizen. And you know, you're spending crores of money on this. You don't know, like I was saying, you don't know what it is. I think it's significant that this is a project that at different stages it's been recognized that it requires some kind of a legal regime, a legal framework. It still doesn't exist and they're going ahead what they want.
Justice Ramajoy's petition in the,
the Supreme Court is precisely on this.
Is on this, that you know, it doesn't have a legal backing.
But let me also tell you that collecting biometrics under the National Population Register is illegal. Because if you look at the Citizenship Act and the citizenship rules, it's very clear that only that field of data which is there in the citizenship rules can be collected. And NPR is collecting biometrics which is not part of that field of data. So I just want to say this, that you know, somewhere a state has to tell us that it feels responsible enough to follow the rule of law. And if it is going to think that it is beyond law and beyond answering the citizens, we'll end up with problems of this kind.
I have Dr. M. Vijayanunni, the former Registrar General and Census Commissioner, with us on the phone line from Thiruvananthapuram. Dr. Unni, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, Dr. Unni, now we know what all has been the problem earlier. In fact, last year we had a discussion, similar discussion on the same issue. You were also part of it. Now this present confusion about the biometric data, who will take it, who will keep it, and now now we are told that the Registrar General and the Census Commissioner will be dealing with the NPR. How do you see all this, which has developed so far?
Yeah, actually, you know, as we had as anybody in the census would have apprehended, not anticipated, actually apprehended. The whole thing is going from one mess to a bigger mess. And that a tremendous financial and physical cost to the nation. First of all, you know, this two-pronged exercise of NPR and the Aadhaar going on parallel, simultaneously. That is one of the biggest mistakes which the government has committed. There is absolutely no justification for a national government to go in this kind of a direction. And in fact, the NPR is also now being taken up in all the states. The Aadhaar is supposed to have reached, I think, 21 crores according to the last figures available. They are talking about 60% coverage and all that. Now the NPR is far behind in that, as could be expected, because that is a much more a complicated exercise and not properly organized either. There is, unlike Nandan Nilekani said, you know, one thing I wanted to say was this UID, that is actually, it's a huge bureaucracy. Because it has the support of the budgetary support given by the Prime Minister and others, and therefore they have no shortage of funds and money.
Right.
In fact, the Census of India, which has been undertaking it for the last 140 years,
Right.
they are doing it at a shoestring budget of about 2,000 to 3,000 crores.
Right.
And this one-time Aadhaar is taking up, many times that.
Yes.
with
Dr. Uday, if I remember, your argument earlier was that why this UIDI, a separate authority, the census, the Registrar General, the census people could have done this job. Is that what you're trying to say even now?
Not at all. Actually, my own take is that this is something which is totally inadvisable.
Okay.
A country like China, with all its dictatorial government and system, has attempted and given it up totally.
Right.
They have found that it is not possible in a vast country like theirs,
right,
with a population similar in size to India's.
Right.
Great Britain,
yes,
the present David Cameron's government,
right,
they have they had the previous government has started this whole thing about total coverage of the population through this biometric and other identifications.
Okay.
The David Cameron government,
yes,
their promise was that we will scrap it.
And they have scrapped it.
They have scrapped it, and they have even deleted the entire data collected.
Right.
Because
right,
he said we do not want this to remain on the records.
Absolutely.
To be misused by any future governments.
Absolutely.
They said this is a great invasion of privacy and the misuse of governmental powers.
Okay.
So this is the kind of attitude which modern governments are having.
Okay.
And we are now going ahead with not in one direction but in two separate directions in duplication. In fact, there is supposed to be a deduplication exercise by the Registrar General's office. Right. Now they have said that even after collecting the details,
yes,
it will take 3 years for the smart cards to be issued now.
Right.
Earlier they said 3 months it will be issued.
Right.
But now they have revised it and said it will take 3 years.
Okay.
And whether it will come in even 3 years will be known only after 3 years.
Okay.
But the reason given is deduplication is required. I would say the real deduplication to be done by the government is these two exercises.
Okay. Please stay on, Dr. Uday. I'll come back to you. Gopal, Krishna, how much has been spent so far on this, according to you?
No, actually, the real question which remains unaddressed is that the UID authority never disclosed the estimated total budget of the project.
Right.
So from 2009 onwards, the expenditure has been, these are ad hoc expenditures,
yes,
without any planned budget for it.
Yes.
And it is really bizarre that although Parliamentary Standing Committee on Finance, headed by Yashwant Sinha, rejected it, the NDA ruled state governments and the non-UPA state governments, they are implementing it. The Parliamentary Standing Committee in its report presented to the Parliament in December 2011 questioned its legality.
Absolutely.
And when this legality is questioned, what we see now, the confusion which has now emerged and which made its attention, is that marketing claims of UID authority is masquerading as facts, and that needs to be questioned and contested. And the responsibility of this confusion lies with the Cabinet Committee on Unique Identification Authority, and Prime Minister heads it. And
right,
the Cabinet, how is Cabinet Committee different from group of ministers?
That
so
I think this is problematic. Usha, you wanted to say something.
Yeah.
I want to go to Vinay Kumar, but before that, quickly.
Just this, that I have I think the question should be carefully positioned, because if we are saying should it be with the UIDAI or should it be with the NPR, yes, it is making it appear like one of the two would necessarily be a good thing.
Yes.
Whereas actually, I just have a slight difference with what our previous speaker said.
Dr. Vijayanunni.
Dr. Unni. In that, I have watched now, I've gone to a number of these enrollment stations and I've gone to many of the sites where the first rollout is happening. And I find that the way in which the UID data is being collected is so incredibly, it's like totally outsourced and it's very irresponsible. It's not monitored at all.
Okay.
Yeah, so we are not talking about one or the other, one of which may be good. We are actually talking about two projects, both of which, and on that I completely agree with Dr. Unni, that these are not projects that should be there at all.
At all. Okay, anyway, let me go to Vinay Kumar. Vinay, you have been following this at the Home Ministry level and also, what is this confusion at the, is this 5,500 crore proposals Sushil Kumar Shinde brings before the cabinet, and then the cabinet gets utterly confused about the whole thing, and then they say let us go before the GOM. Now, what do you expect the GOM to do?
Yeah, Girish, we do not know what the terms of reference of GOM will be at this juncture.
Yes.
But as has been pointed out in the discussion just now, that there is tremendous confusion in the government. First, the UID numbers, the Aadhaar numbers which were generated. The basic objective behind it was that the benefits, the social benefits should go to those sections who really need them, and the government money does not reach them.
Right.
So that was the objective, how why these UID AI cards were launched. Right. Then the other confusion became when NPR became mandatory under the amended Citizenship Act, which was amended in 2004. In fact, this exercise has been going on since 1986 in border areas of Rajasthan.
Vinay, I know one clarification I need. This NPR card, or whatever it is going to be called, it is supposed to be issued to people above the age of 18 years, right?
Yes, all adults, who are usual residents. That is how NPR is described.
Right.
National Population Register.
Right.
And you may not be a citizen of India, but if you are a usual resident, if you are residing at a particular place for the past 6 months, or you intend to stay for next 6 months, you have to get yourself registered in NPR.
What
Mr. Chidambaram was saying that
what is the purpose of this? What was the purpose of this?
Purpose is to prepare a comprehensive register of all usual residents of India, which does not necessarily mean if you are registered in NPR that the citizenship of India is granted to you automatically. Yeah. It does not mean that.
Right.
And if you see through the website of NPR, which is being administered by the Registrar General of India, it makes it amply clear. But as we know, the basic concern was that infiltration is going on in border areas and the security and safety of our citizens. So the pilot projects were always launched in border districts of Jammu and Kashmir, of Andaman and Nicobar Islands, and other such places. But somehow I think the entire exercise, this massive exercise, has lost its objective, and the citizens do not know. Like I did not enroll myself for Aadhaar after this thing became clear that Aadhaar has no legal backing.
I have registered for Aadhaar. I have an Aadhaar card. I don't know what it is worth now.
I went for NPR camp and biometrics were collected last summer, but I am still to get any communication or still to get my card. Okay. And simultaneously, we also have an exercise of census, which was completed in 2010. That is also a massive exercise. And assimilation of data and dissemination of that data, census data, itself takes years. So where are we heading to? You know, during NDA's time, there was a pilot project done by TCS, which came out with a comprehensive report on how to implement these things. And we also have observations of Parliamentary Standing Committee, which has said that, you know, in so many countries, these kind of projects have been scrapped. The question is, you know, how many identities can a citizen keep?
Exactly.
A passport, a driving license, election card, voter ID card, and, you know, the various identity cards given by the government ministries to the government employees.
Vinay, one point which I want you to answer. Uday Singh, I suppose you heard Uday Singh. Uday Singh was talking about the NDA's efforts which had gone into this creating one national citizenship card. You think this citizenship card, the citizenship card which the NDA had envisaged and the National Population Register which the present government is doing, is there any similarity in that?
No, that was, there is no, I think the only similarity is that there has to be an identity card for a citizen of India. But since I told you this scheme has been going on since 1986, then after Kargil war, the GOM had recommended this, that there should be a national citizenship register and there should be a proper identity card for addressing the security concerns. But this has basically been going on in border areas since 1986, and the NDA regime intended to give a multi-purpose national identity card, MNIC, and which could never take off during that time.
Uday, quickly. So, what is it that your party is going to do about this now? the Yashwant Sinha-led finance standing committee had rejected this. Now the government has gone ahead with what are the options left now for the government and you people as an opposition party?
As a member of parliament, as a member of the BJP, I and my party both would ask the government for the accountability of having spent thousands of crores on this utterly useless, meaningless program, and would recommend to them that they must follow the logical step of issuing a national identity card, multi-utility identity card, to all its citizens after getting the legal sanctions, the legal framework in place. That is what I would say.
Sorry, Uday, we are completely running out of time. Yes, Usha, quickly.
I have an offer to make.
Yes.
There are some of us who have been following this project with great intentness.
Yes, because now that thousands of crores have been spent, scrapping the whole thing is not the solution, right?
Well, I'm not sure. If you're going to put in good money after bad, and I said exactly the same words last year, I don't want to be saying the same thing. And I think that's what Dr. Unni said last year too.
Yes.
But what I do want to say is that, you know, so far they've shown a naivety, and yesterday they've admitted to an ignorance which is really, I mean, it's like unacceptable, but it's true.
Yes.
We are making an offer, and there are a number of us who've been studying this project. We are making an open offer because we are a citizenry of this country who really work with the government and work with the state on a number of things because we come in for the people. So we're making an offer that we are willing to put all that we have studied at their disposal if they are interested in knowing what the issues are, and we are available. The only one thing that I want to say is, please, whenever you think of an ID, and every Indian citizen is entitled to an ID, think of something that they can use as an identity and not something that will just be tracking them and they will not be using.
Absolutely.
Please.
Dr. Unni, last words to you. Dr. Unni, last words to you. Do you think this is a viable proposition at all? Very quickly, sir.
Absolutely not. I think all the participants in today's program, as well as all the others, the civil society members who have seen it in the field also, I have also seen its implementation in the field.
Right.
I find that there is absolutely nothing to recommend this project at all. And if a few crores have been spent, the wisest course of action is not to spend any more rupee or crore on this.
Okay. Yes, Gopal Krishna, last words to quickly.
This is not only about spending and creating a confusion, it is also about hiding facts from citizens. This is the document of the UID authority, and it says not only NPR and UID are going to be merged, this is government's intent, they plan to merge even voter ID with it.
Right.
And the parliament and the citizens are being kept in dark about it. This is really scandalous.
So we are completely run out of time. Scandalous, that's the word which is being used. This is a very, very serious issue. Thousands of crores have already been spent and thousands of crores are proposed to be spent, but without any clarity on this whole issue. Hopefully the government, the GOM which is now being set up, will look into all these things and take the right decision in the interest of the larger interest of the country and the people. And as Usha was pointing out, these identity cards should not be used to track the people, but to give them an identity. Thanks to all my guests, Usha, Ramanathan, Gopal, Krishna, Uday, Singh, Vinay, Kumar, and Dr. Vijayanunni. Please keep watching. We'll come back with another issue on the big picture, same time tomorrow.